You are running with the Devils, and we're here talking everything Arizona State football. Oh, happy early Thanksgiving to everyone out there watching us talking everything ASU football as we do every week here on Running with the Devils. I'm the RyKno, Ryan Knowles. Here with me as always, Big John Caldwell. Hey, and Big John. I am thankful for ASU football because the Devils went into Boulder and just took it to Dion's boys, and for a very, very nice win. It was good to see them, kind of pull away at the end there and not have such a nail biter against a team that's kind of struggled this year, and kind of we talked about them putting the Buffs in their place and really taking it to them. Kind of took them 3 quarters of toiling a little bit to get there, but by the time the fourth quarter rolled around, it was the Devils coming out on top with a big win over Colorado to move to 8-3 on the season. And it's a victory show. We're in a great mood. It's the holiday, Thanksgiving tomorrow. Looking forward to that with all the fam. And then Friday, we look forward to this one all year long. It is the Duel in the Desert, the battle for the Territorial Cup. It is your Sun Devils versus their Wildcats. Excuse me, a little Freudian slip there. Big John, we got a good one this year because both these teams are ranked. First time since 2014.
Right.
Both these teams are ranked when they face each other before the Territorial Cup. And Big John, the records go out the window. Tendencies, everything goes out the window when the rivalry game comes around. And I know you and I are both looking forward to this one in a big way.
It's a meaningful game, right?
Yes.
And to be playing meaningful games this late in the season, that's a sign that we're going in the right direction.
Yeah, and he's talked about that quite a bit, and it is you're right, absolutely. It is a great sign to be heading in that direction.
It is, and you win this game and you win your bowl game, and you're at 10. You're at same record 10-3 as you had last year. So 2-10. We potentially look at 2 10-win seasons stacked, and I love it. I love the direction, everything that's going on. Kenny is a hot commodity. I'm going to tell you right now. I had some coaches in at our Booster Club luncheon yesterday saying this is not just idle chatter. He is a hot commodity, and the good news is he is staying, folks. It's going to take a bulldozer to get him out of here. He confirmed it this week. He says I was never leaving.
Yeah. Well, and he deserves to be with what he's done with this program, turning them around from 2 straight 3-win seasons to 2 straight 3-loss seasons.
That's right.
Good. That's some math I do enjoy. And, you talked about playing meaningful games. The Devils are still mathematically alive for a repeat appearance in the Big 12 championship game. But it's going to take some help. They are going to need some help. We'll talk about this a little bit more during our Big 12 weekend review. And then we'll get into our Territorial Cup memories. These are, things that we've both been a part of this rivalry. I attended ASU. John, when's the last time you missed a Territorial Cup?
Oh,
it's been a while.
There might have been a child being born or something. I don't know.
There you go. We have very vivid, very, extensive memories about this game, this rivalry, and we are going to share them with you here on RWD. Before we get into this, though, please like and subscribe. If you enjoy our show, let us know what you like down below in the comments, and hit the subscribe button so you know every time that a new episode gets posted here. And this is a big one because, we talked about ASU going into Boulder and coming out with a win because they, had a lot of close games this year. I mean, they really hadn't pulled away from a team since Texas State. I mean, just about all their conference games had come down to, the final minutes. And so it was good to see them kind of pull away and put a team away late. Granted, a team that is, that was less than. They were certainly not as talented. The Colorado had been banged up a little bit, especially on defense, on the offensive line. But when that happens, you have to be a team that takes advantage of that. And that's something that ASU has struggled to do this year, where they go out there and just dominate and impose their will on an imposing team. And it's something that they still struggle to do for about 3 quarters due to, turning the ball over 4 times. They had all of the stats. They were moving the ball pretty consistently. They, controlled time of possession. They look at those rushing yards. I mean, that in and of itself is, that makes you think this should have been an even worse, an even bigger margin of victory. But yeah, those 4 turnovers certainly proved costly. And, Jeff Sims
Well, they weren't
was
that
certainly
costly. It
part
only
of that.
cost us 3 points.
Yes, but that's a credit to the defense. And we'll get
Right,
into
right,
the
right.
defense here in,
Right.
in just a minute. They played tremendous. Um, but we got to talk about the offense for a minute because Jeff Sims, not the best game throwing the ball, less than 50%. He did have a couple of bad turnovers with a interception and a fumble, both that he lost. I mean, that interception, I don't know what he was trying to do. Just kind of got out on the edge and just, I don't know if he panicked or what happened exactly, but he
You talking about
lost control of the ball and it fell into a Colorado defender's hands deep in ASU territory. That was one of those, thankfully they were able to get away unscathed, relatively. I think that was the one where they kicked the field goal. But yeah, that's something that was like the old Jeff Sims. That was the guy who, was making bad decisions with the ball consistently. And, that was the guy. I thought we kind of worked past that.
Yeah,
At
he
this
threw off the
point.
back foot. He threw off the back foot, and
Yes.
he took ownership. He took ownership and said it was just a bad throw on his
Yeah,
part.
the relief throw that he was, trying. He had one-on-one coverage and just kind of floated it, and the Colorado defender made a play on the ball, and yeah, that's something that really can't happen. But some very good positives to come out of this game. It was nice to see Kanye Udo get his first, significant time and touches since Mississippi State, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I know that he's been down a little bit with an illness and a turf toe issue. It's kind of been haunting him a little bit this year, but it was good to see him go out there and put together some big runs and get in the end zone. Jason Brown, him and Demarius Robinson both got some run in this game, kind of in garbage time. It was nice to see him find the end zone for his first career touchdown. And then what more can you say about Derek Eusebio? I mean, yeah, with Jordan Tyson kind of on a snap count limit, Eusebio just kind of continues to go out there and be the go-to guy for Jeff Sims. He's just kind of looking for number 83 out there whenever he needs a big play. And in this one, that touchdown catch and run that he had, Colorado was just kind of in the wrong defense. You see their linebacker kind of hopping up and down, trying to get somebody's attention so they can make some adjustments. And he comes right over. Derek Eusebio comes right over the middle and catches the ball and just takes it to the house for a long touchdown. And that was a tremendous play and something that ASU definitely needed at the time.
And so, scoring 42 points, that's the first time we've done that this year. It was exciting that for our fans, but it was duly noted by the College Football Playoff Committee. We went from 25th to 20th. We were rewarded by moving up to 20. So they are paying attention, even though we're playing late at night, for them. It's still
for those East Coast people, yes.
But I think the overall effort, 355 rushing, had to catch their attention, whether they were asleep or read it the next day. But no, I think it's all good, and I think the fact that
Deion still got his fans all over the place who are still keeping up with him at Colorado. So they're anytime there's a game on TV that they can watch, with him involved, they're going to.
Yeah, he's still getting good. Good slots for ESPN and things like that.
Good press, right?
Yeah. So yeah, Eusebio continues to shine, and I think those two are on the same wavelength. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, for a guy, a former walk-on who was just put on scholarship at the end of last season, this is big step in the right direction for him, and he's definitely made an impact out there. It's great to see. And then for ASU's defense, going up against a freshman quarterback was only making his third career start. You had to know they were going to try to get after it, try to get him rattled. They did a really good job. Only 12 first downs, only 135 rushing yards allowed, and they got off the field on third down, only 5 of 18 on third downs. Although I was a little bit concerned after they picked up that 3rd and 23 off a screen pass. I don't know what's going on with us in 3rd and long that we just give up those big plays. But luckily, Colorado hands off to a former walk-on who hadn't hardly touched the ball all season, and he fumbles untouched. on the next play, and then we recover. That was the Keith Abney fumble recovery, and then Ridley Brown takes the next play 88 yards to the house. And yeah, a lot to like out of this game. Justin Watley, another strong game. This kid just he's peaking at the right time. He's playing very, very well these last few games. Another 2-sack game for him. Keith Abney was just a force out there, shutting down Colorado's top offensive weapon, Omarion Miller. Yeah, he had the one touchdown catch, but that was against Boogie Wilson on a mismatch when they tried to put the safety on him at the line, which just wasn't going to work from the get-go. And yeah, Julian Lewis, not a bad game for only his third career start, 50%, 161 yards. But ASU did a great job, containing him, getting their hands up, knocking a couple balls down, making some plays on the ball when they needed to, and getting off the field on money downs. Colorado was also 2 on 4th down as well. So props to them for that. And that when they stuffed him on the quarterback run, on the quarterback sneak early in the first half, I think that was a big play as well. Yeah. So props to the defense. They definitely got this game done. Because they kind of kept ASU on top and in the game early, through about the first 3 quarters until the offense was able to take over with the rushing attack in the 4th quarter. But yeah, only giving up 3 points off of 4 turnovers is tremendous.
It's unheard of. Yeah, in fact, the whole season's been like that. But I want to say I was impressed by their quarterback. I liked his athleticism. You could see he
made a couple nice throws. He made some
did.
nice plays. He made some adjustments to the line. There were a couple things that he did do very well. You could see the potential there. You could see why he was the 5-star guy, why he was one of the higher recruited quarterbacks in the nation. And I mean, yeah, there were times where he played like it. It was just consistency is the thing with young players like that.
We made the point last week that athletic kid, but capable, but he's young and makes freshman mistakes. So I'm just going to.
Plus, they had some injuries on their offensive line that we were hoping they would take advantage of, and I felt like ASU did with some of the pressures that they dialed up.
It's going to be interesting to watch Lewis over the next 3 years if he stays there and can be developed there. I think he's got. I think he's got himself. I mean, that team needs like consistency. They need to stick together and stop losing offensive linemen. They need it needs time to gel. And I know they've had a fairly good year, but they're bowl eligible, right? Yeah. They're bowl. No, that's right. They
only won 4 games. I think
4 games. No, that's right. They can't get bowl eligible. That's right. So
3. Yeah, they're only 3 and 8 right now.
3 and 8.
Yeah.
So they can't get there. Well, nonetheless, I think it's you got to wonder how long Dion wants to keep hanging there. They gave him a nice extension, and he's being paid ridiculous money, being paid SEC money to coach there. And I just wonder how long if another bad season.
I think and the health issues might force him out before the team's performance on the field. And I think if he can keep Julian Lewis and put some weapons around him and actually protect him, by having some consistency along that offensive line, that could certainly benefit them. Going forward, because I mean, they through about 3 quarters, they did not play like a 3-win team. And I was a little bit disappointed that ASU was kind of playing down to their level at times, especially with the way they were turning the ball over. But luckily, they were able to turn it on in the 4th quarter, wear Colorado down with some of those body blow runs that they had, and then just let Raleek Brown cook with some of his runs. And that was certainly demoralizing to the Colorado defense.
And then when they went from switching from the zone blocking to the gap block scheme, it started clicking for them, and it was nice to see make the adjustment and for us to really take.
And I'm glad they held off on that until the 4th quarter too.
Yeah.
Because 3 quarters, you get them one look, and then you show them something completely different going into the 4th quarter, and they're not going to be able to adjust to that. At all, and it was obvious. I mean, the way they were breaking off those, double-digit yard runs consistently was very, very encouraging and really great to see. After the way they, there were stretches where they struggled to move the ball consistently through 3 quarters, and it was still a relatively close game going into the fourth quarter, and they did a good job in putting it away. So that leads us into our players of the week, as we like to do every week after a win here on RWD. Our players of the week presented by the Valley Athletic Booster Club. Support local athletics. Check out valleyathleticboosterclub.com. Best tailgate by bar none in all of Tempe.
Yeah,
Mark it down. Yeah, we're gonna have another epic one this week. Certainly a full one too. And my players of the week this week, got to give it to Raleek Brown, the running back who just continues to perform and be a star out there. A guy who we weren't sure how much would contribute this year with Kyson Brown being the player that he is and that he was last year. But he has stepped in. He's come back. Raleek Brown has come back healthy, and he has really looked the part in both the rushing and receiving games. He had a nice receiving touchdown to open the scoring in this game for the Devils. Jeff Sims found him down the sideline on a 4th and 2 that he then cut back to the middle and was able to put it in the end zone and threw the Dion shuffle into his celebration too, which I thought was awesome.
It was fun.
And then great. He's kind of become the go-to guy, the bell cow back for us. Even though he's not the biggest guy, his speed, his shiftiness, and his versatility, I don't think can be understated with what he's been able to contribute this year. And then on defense, got to give it to Keyshawn Elliott. I know, John, he's your guy. Usually he is one of your favorite players on this team, but he had a tremendous game with led the team in tackles, tied for the team in sacks. Him and Justin Watley both had 2, and then also had a nice pass deflection on a play in the there was Juju Lewis was kind of stretching out the play to the right by the sideline, and then his guy was only like Keyshawn was covering the guy only about like a couple yards down past the line of scrimmage, and Juju just kind of tried to flip it to him, and Keyshawn was able to knock it away, which was he stayed home on that. He didn't try to do too much, just was able to make a play on the ball when Lewis made the decision. So great job from Keyshawn once again. The guy just goes out there and he's a tackling machine. And when they give him his opportunities to get after the quarterback, especially out in space, because he can keep up with those quarterbacks out in the open, he's done a good job, and he certainly did it again this week.
Yeah, so let me ask you: has Raleek been caught from behind at all this year? I can't recall a time where he's ever been caught. Anybody's caught him from behind.
He did in this game. He did in this game because they kind of got an angle on him. And he had this. He had run about 40 yards downfield already, and was kind of out of gas. I think at that point he was slowing down as he went down the sideline, and they ultimately pushed him out. But yeah, it's been rare. They did catch him on that 88-yard run there.
That's right.
Where the guy, caught him
it looked like
the referee pulled his hamstring, couldn't pull his flag apparently because the guy horse collared Raleek, tugged him down by the horse collar, which apparently even in the end zone should be called. I was a little fuming after that play that there wasn't a flag thrown.
I guess horse collar, you got to catch him up by the neck. If you grab 6 inches below on the jersey,
he pulled him by the name on the nameplate. So
he's vulnerable there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But that was he didn't really even touch him until he was practically at the goal line. So
right.
Yeah, it's on a long run like that. Yeah, it's going to be tough to catch him, but yeah, guys get angles on him. Raleek's a sprinter. Sometimes he doesn't just have he has home run speed, but sometimes most runners, he'll run out of gas after about 23 yards.
What it is,
full speed.
He's up to speed like in the second or third stride. That's what's so impressive. So unique about him.
And we talked about his acceleration, that burst that he had.
So nice.
Is unreal. You don't see that from guys very often. The only guy I know that I've even seen it close with was Jahmyr Gibbs. That was a guy who just, he could, even now, you look at what he's doing for the Lions, just, accelerate he hits a certain gear and he's gone. I mean, you better have the angle on him or have help to get to him, or else he's going to make you look silly. And that's kind of something similar to what Raleek Brown has. He's not built quite that big, but yeah, the guy just goes out there, and when he gets out in the open, he is dangerous. And I think that's why they put him out in passing patterns and try to create mismatches for him, especially against the linebackers, because linebackers cannot cover him.
And take note for U of A that in terms of what we'll come back to this, but that's actually one of our big strong suits, I think, going into this game is exactly what you just said. So let's jump in. Ray Leak, obviously at 255 yards, not only was it a career high, it was a school road game high. Again, the
third highest rushing total in school history too.
Very impressive.
255 yards. Yeah,
he's got to stop watching video games, and that is it the P button that where you hurdle guys. He's got
to stop trying to stretch things. He's fast, but he's not like teleporting fast. Okay? He's got to stop stretching plays out, trying to make the spectacular every single time. That's the one knock I think I have on him, is that he just needs to cut a play inside, just try to get what he can when the defense snuffs it out. You can't be going, out to the edge every single time and losing, yards the way he does at times when they send him out on the edge. That's not something that's consistent. I hope Sean Aguano has certainly addressed that with him, as far as just kind of getting what you can, live to fight the next play, make it at least second and long, but it's second and manageable, as opposed to second and 8 instead of second and 13 or 12.
Mm-hmm. So. And I had to put a special teams player rather than defensive. Canyon Floyd had 4 punts, averaged 48 yards, 48.3. 2 of them were over 50. One was 54 yards, and he passed for the first down.
Look at the difference between the field position when he's in the game as opposed to Matt McKenzie. Mm-hmm. And I think it was really apparent in the West Virginia game when McKenzie punted those first 2 times in the first quarter, and they were terrible. I mean, I think they all went all of like 30 yards, both of them. And Kenyon Floyd is he did a great job last year as a freshman.
He's healthy.
Won the punting job, going away,
right,
as a true freshman. And then this year, he gets hurt. They brought in McKenzie to kind of back him up and just kind of have a little bit more depth at the position in case of injury. And he's had this nagging leg injury, but I mean, the way he's kicking now, it seems like it's past him, because he did a great job in this game. There's no doubt about it. Even if you don't count that pass that he had, I mean, I don't know what's going on. They see something with Blazin Lono Wong always being open, because I mean that's a play that they hit that in the Peach Bowl as well to him.
Right. 2 weeks in a row, you've seen special teams coming up with some gadget stuff. I like that. From
Jack Judo going to the bag of tricks.
He's making his mark, isn't he? It's pretty cool. As a coach, he sees these things on film, presents them to Kenny. Kenny goes back and studies it. They take it to the table, and they say, "Let's go. We can get a point out of that, or we can get
steal a drive, steal a first down." Right?
That's right. And speaking of drives, Colorado had 17 possessions in that game, and we still held them to what we did. I mean, it was pretty impressive.
17 possessions, 17 points.
That's right. It's a point of possession. That's got to be some kind of record.
It's pretty impressive, especially when you look at we talked about the turnovers, and ASU only giving up 3 points off of those. I mean, the defense has kind of carried the team through stretches this year, especially with Sam Levitt being down, Jordan Tyson being down for an extended period of time. Losing some other injuries that have cropped up and kind of been an issue and forced this team to kind of adjust how they play. And they've done it very, very well. And the defense has stepped up every single time. And when they're not put in bad positions, when they're not, getting exposed, kind of like they did against Utah, they're about as tough as anybody in the country. I feel like with what they've done. this year and what the way they've played. It's been remarkable. And yeah, Brian Ward catches some flack for struggling on 3rd and long, but
Yeah,
if that's your biggest problem, that's not the worst thing in the world.
correct. All right, so moving on.
And those are our players of the week presented by the Valley Athletic Booster Club. And that takes us into our Big 12 week in review. And it's getting down to crunch time. And this conference, man, I mean, you never know who it's going to be week in and week out. I mean, it's just, there's always at least one upset that can be counted on for sure. There's always going to be one or two teams that shows up and just kind of, reaches up and bites you out of nowhere. And, that this week it was actually Utah. They were favored and they, go out there and they look like I was out with my lady for dinner at the time. And I texted you about it. I was like, Kansas State's up 10 with like 3 minutes to go. I figured the game was over. They were going to be able to salt it away. They have a good rushing attack. They were going to sneak away and it was going to help ASU in the championship game hunt. And Utah they get a stop, they get a score, and they were able to put some points on the board late. And
Dampier runs like a crazy man at the end.
And they're splitting. I mean, they got a two-headed monster at quarterback right now with that Ficklin kid.
Right.
Too. I mean, they're splitting time between him and Dampier. And it's interesting what's going on with them right now. That Utah team, I don't know if anybody really wants to play them. They're kind of like us. They're on the outside looking in right now. But I mean, if somebody trips up this weekend, they could find themselves in the championship game. That they're 9-2 right now, and they hold the head-to-head against us.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, they're legit right now, and it's freaky what they're doing, to be sure.
When you're that physical, and you're gonna win a bunch of games, and I thought that was the key to beating us. They just beat it. It was more physical, and then Dampier. I think you're seeing right now what I've been saying since high school. He should have been a running back, right? But right.
Well, yeah, and I mean, certainly, we talked about this when we previewed this game. He certainly runs a lot better than he throws. I don't think there's any debate about that. But that ability to run, especially in front of that big talented offensive line with two fairly high NFL draft picks on it, and Spencer Fano and Caleb Lomu, that's a deadly combination, and Utah's found a way to make it work. And yeah, they platoon Ficklin right now, and gotten he's a really good thrower. I mean, he's more of a true dual threat, and has made some tremendous plays. And it's a tough team right now. They're playing some good ball right now, especially the way they rallied and scored 16 points late to kind of take that game from Kansas State was crazy. And then, the premier matchup of the weekend, I think, was that BYU Cincinnati game.
Cincinnati, yeah.
And Cincinnati looked like, their defense was playing very, very well early in that game. Looked like they were gonna, make it a game. It's just that the offense could not get going. They missed two big field goals that really could have made the difference in this game. And BYU took advantage late. They were able to pull away in the fourth quarter for a 26-14 win. Well, it looked like Cincinnati, kind of had them on the ropes. It was a 10-7 game at the half.
Right.
And that's another game that really could have helped ASU if they could have, if BYU loses, now, especially with, TCU, like I said, there's always one team coming up and fighting somebody, and that was TCU this week. Speaking of not making field goals, Houston really struggled in that, and they missed a fairly makeable one there right at the end of regulation that could have sent it into overtime, and TCU ends up winning 17-14. and that puts the Cougars on the outside. I don't even think they're mathematically eligible at this point. They need like 6 or 7 things to go their way just to make the championship game. So I think they're pretty much out. And then Arizona's playing very good ball right now. They had much like us against Colorado. They had a tight game with Baylor. It was 21-17 in the fourth quarter, and then they were just forcing turnovers and turning them into points left and right, and end up turning into a laugher as they win their fourth straight, 41-17 over a really good Baylor team with a good offense. And now there's questions whether Dave Aranda will even be back next year.
Yeah,
a lot of not really living up to expectations that they had for this year with that offense that they had with Sawyer Robertson and company.
But they lost their AD, to a college football playoff AD, to a scandal. And they think there's something to do with going on with touching kids on the sideline, whether they be cheerleaders and or interns and or players.
It's never like to hear that. And Texas Tech was off this week. And then going into this week, this is a game. These are some games that we're going to be scoreboard watching certainly, as ASU has to really get some help. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have Kansas beat Utah on Friday morning.
As I said,
probably asking a lot.
You root for any team from Kansas.
Yes, what you do. And then you got West Virginia. I think Texas Tech might be in even with a loss. I think they've already clinched a spot. They got West Virginia in Morgantown, but even if they lose that game, I think they're still probably in.
Well, they'll have 2 conference losses, one to us and West Virginia.
True.
And we'd hold the win over them, but they have the overall record.
Yeah. And then the other game we're going to have an eye on is BYU and UCF. And I think the way things are now, if BYU loses that game and ASU wins, I think we're in against Texas Tech.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. So that's the game we're really going to be watching very closely because, and it's that's a morning game too. It's at 11 a.m. Our time.
Our time.
Yeah, 11 a.m. in Provo. But if UCF can pull out the miracle and ASU wins, ASU would face Texas Tech in Dallas on the 6th. And I know we're going to be watching that game really, really close. Hopefully ASU can get the job done. I don't know, Big John. That's a tough game. That's a tough draw for UCF. Yeah, they're 5-6 this year. They're trying to get bowl eligible. But they have not been very good this year, plain and simple. They've been one of the worst teams in the conference basically all year. So hoping for them to win. I mean, this is why I was really hoping Cincinnati would get the job done. They're struggling bad right now. I mean, they were looking like one of the better teams in the conference through the first half of the season, and they've lost, I think, 3 or 4 straight now, and it's ugly in Mile High Town right now because they just or Skyline Town. They're they're for the Bearcats because they're not a good team right now. And so that's the game we're going to be watching is that BYU UCF game kicked off at 11. Hopefully, we're definitely root for those Knights because if they can pull out the win and ASU wins that night, ASU wins the night before because this game is on Saturday, then it would be ASU in the Big 12 championship for the second straight year.
I should have the first TV fired up at about 11:30 at the tailgate. So,
well, again, that game is Saturday.
That's right. I'm sorry.
BYU UCF will be Saturday.
That's right. Yeah,
we'll know
several other.
We got to take care of business on Friday. Once we do that, we'll keep an eye on some things on Saturday. But I mean, I think it would take Texas Tech losing and then I thought Utah had to lose as well for this to all kind of play out to where ASU would play BYU in the championship game. That was like the only other scenario I think where ASU would get in. But again, I think I would just prefer the simplest outcome, which would be UCF upsetting, shocking BYU in Provo. Again, not something that's happened, that's likely to happen, but stranger things have happened. So definitely rooting for those Knights on Saturday morning. So that's where we sit. And then as we go in here to our Territorial Cup game memories, our tradition here on RWD, we love talking about everything that Duel in the Desert has to offer. And this is the 99th running of the Duel in the Desert for the battle for the Territorial Cup. And man, we're really looking forward to this. I think back on some of the games that I went to. One of my first experiences with this game was when I was a student and living on campus back in 2005, and ASU was ranked at the time, if I'm not mistaken, and they were. They may not have been ranked, but they were trying to get to a better bowl game. I think they were 6-5, and U of A was, coming off. They were kind of riding high after upsetting ASU the year before in Tucson, and they had, a pretty talented freshman quarterback in Willie Tuitama, who they were very high on, and we're looking to kind of ruin ASU's season basically. And they looked like they were well on their way too, because ASU was down to them in the fourth quarter and didn't look too good there for a while. And then Tuitama gets knocked out of the game. Their backup, Richard Kovalchuk, comes in, and he just wasn't the same player. And then it's, as he did this earlier in the year against USC. Terry Richardson takes a punt return back for a touchdown and scores down the sideline right in front of the student section. And man, we went ballistic. I mean, it was nuts. It was absolute bedlam in the student section after that happened. And then we go for 2 to tie the game. Rudy Carpenter finds Zach Miller for the 2-point conversion. And then ASU drives down late, and Jesse Ainsworth kicks a late field goal as the buzzer sounded to win the game. And that was a crazy game. That was a very, very crazy game. And that was my first time at the Territorial Cup game, and certainly one to remember. Then the next year we go down. I went down to Tucson for the first time. I'd never been to the game in Tucson before. My good friend Todd Weber and I drove down that day, and we had a great, really, really good experience being on the road. It was ASU jumped out to a 21-0 lead, and there were a couple guys, who'd kind of gotten in the doghouse, been in the doghouse most of the year, like Jamal Lewis, the Mr. Hollywood, had a nice touchdown catch in that game. Zach Miller had one right before the end of the half. I believe that was his final game at ASU, if I'm not mistaken. And that was also Dirk Cutter's final regular season game before he got.
So Zach played one more year.
Yes. No. Brent did.
Oh, no.
Brent did. Brent played in 07. Zach's final year was 06 before he got drafted by the Raiders. And then, they go out. ASU jumps out to 21-0 first quarter lead. U of A comes back, come within 21-14, and then ASU just puts together a great drive that took about half the fourth quarter, and Dimitri Nance punches it in from a couple yards out, basically seal the game.
You're right.
And that was a very interesting experience for me going out to Tucson and going to that game for the first time. So it was a fun game.
Back then, they had dorms built into the ends of the stadium, right? Kids were living in the ends of the stadium. It was just draconian. And I just remember they all have signs up there, and they're all looking out their windows at you. It was just weird. And it's the only place. It's such a hodgepodge of a stadium. There's so many different generations of stuff going on there. I'll never forget.
And I remember going last year when we went, and I was just like, how is this place even
I
like
know.
holding together? It's like stuck together with, old chewing gum and twine. You know,
It's
it's
the
like the
only stadium we've ever played in where there are no bathroom stalls to take a number two. You're sitting there looking out at people going, "Hey, is that open?"
oh
Yeah,
God.
it's just terrible.
No,
It's
actually,
terrible.
right by the right there is a stall, but yeah, there's
Oh,
no. But you still got to do number one in a trough.
yeah. Well,
But
unbe-
yeah, yeah, those bathrooms are a little. I mean,
oh
yeah,
my
between
God.
that and the concessions, it is a very antiquated stadium that desperately needs some. Especially with the amenities, needs some
It,
updating. And I know you would like to see that sound system updated too,
no,
because it's just
they've done a
a
nice
bag of
job.
ass half the time.
They've actually improved it, but what the problem is, they pump
Still not very good.
no, but they pump crowd noise through it.
Oh,
I've sat right next to it, and it's like, what? There's crowd noise coming through the speakers. They cheat. Yeah, yes,
is there a
sir.
little person stuck in there or something?
It's no there are rules against that, and I pointed that out to some of the coaches. They go, yeah, we're
Sure.
aware.
Oh,
So
interesting. Well,
yeah,
yeah. I mean,
it's
have you seen their crowds this year? I mean,
what's going on?
they're in an 8-win season. They got a half full stadium.
Who does
I mean,
that?
I get it. I get it. You're a basketball school. It's basketball all the time. But I mean, take notice when your other sports are or at least halfway decent or competitive,
God,
like football is this year. I mean,
foot, football pays for everything. Come on.
oh yeah, it does. You
Where do
ain't
you
kidding.
so where do you think that and I realize that the revenue sharing money probably comes more from basketball that they spread around, but
For that school, yes, and
it's
yeah, they have always been a basketball school. That's where a lot of the support goes, especially this year where they look like they're going to be, friggin' world beaters right now. But
yeah,
this is the football, but their football team's actually is actually competitive. They're actually playing well. They're actually putting on a decent show. They've only been blown out once this year.
hmm
Their other two losses were by like a combined 6 points, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken, something like that.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they're a decent team this year. Why are you just
Yep.
ignoring them? I don't know. It just feels like, and I know tickets can't be that expensive with
Well,
with as many that are available.
they were.
Um,
If you bought food, you got a ticket at some
yeah,
point this year. Yeah, they
I,
bought a
I
ticket.
I I know a lot of colleges do that when they're trying to drive traffic to their stadiums, and
Yeah,
man, they can't even do that. It's very disappointing, But I mean, that's
it's
we make jokes about Tucson as much as we
well,
do the university, and I don't
well,
know.
the the hate is still
It's a
real.
different type of people down there.
So yesterday, we hosted about a dozen former players and coaches at the VA Valley Athletic Booster Club's luncheon,
Mhm.
and number of players and coaches had coached and played at other schools,
Of
and
course.
they said the one thing we'll tell you bet your bottom dollar on is that
Mhm.
this everybody's got a rivalry, and they're intense, but
Mhm.
they're not. They all said there's nothing like this because this is real hate. Like everybody has,
Maybe not clean old fashioned hate like in Georgia,
no,
but
this
still
is
it's pretty legitimate. I mean,
it's
Jordan Tyson and Jeff Sims both used the word hate in their pressers this week. So I mean, yeah, that's on the minds of the players too. And hey, don't think it doesn't matter to them either, because you remember last year when Jacob Kongaika planted the
yeah,
pitchfork in the middle of the red and white A. I mean, and then yeah, he earned the ire of a few Wildcats, and then
I
a
love
couple
it.
years ago when U of A finally ended their losing streak against us, in Tucson, winning 38-35. The end of that game got a little bit ugly down the sideline there with Elijah Badger and some other
Right,
players. Badger was suspended the first half of the next year. I think that was 22, if I'm not
22. Yeah.
mistaken. Yeah, and then I mean, just it
They got
is legit. It matters to these guys. It
it
matters
does.
it matters to everybody involved. And yeah, it's
My
boiled over a few times, and it's legit. I know, absolutely. And I mean, I think back to '96 when ASU had lost a few times in a row against that U of A team, and this was a U of A team that 2 years ago had shut out Miami in the Fiesta Bowl, so they were still a pretty legit program with a solid fan base at the time. And we go into their house and just beat the crap out of them 56-14.
well,
Terry Battle and Keith Poole and Jake Plummer and all those guys putting on a show the way they did and sending us to the Rose Bowl in style.
Jake actually told a story yesterday about Jake kind of going in because they scored first, I believe, in that game. Jake said, "That's it. Put the hammer down now. Put the hammer down. No more screwing around." And they did.
Screwing around. Yes.
And they did. So yeah. They're my favorite. I mean, I have so many bad memories from the playing down there, but so many positive ones too. But for some reason, this game just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I don't know why. It's because of and it has to. And
it depends on the outcome, because you will get a bad taste in your mouth for the year until the next year, because it is the last game, usually the last game of the season. It kind of sets the tone for your off season more often than not.
For me, and it's memorable, but it's a horrible memory. Was we had played such a great year in '82, going playing and lost to them down there in a game we never should have lost. And had we won, we were going to the Rose Bowl, and that just really, I can never forget it. What happened?
Yeah, and there's been games like that too, where '86. They had just had the one tie, I think, going into that game, and then the only loss that they ended up having that year was to U of A after Chuck Cecil with that big long touchdown return that everybody they love to remind us about. But a lot of good memories, and certainly we hope to make some more this week. Certainly ASU's had U of A's number of late as we head into this game. This is certainly a game that ASU has, especially this side of 2000, has certainly had U of A's number. I think they're 16-9 in this game since 1999. And U of A, but they bounced back this year. They were terrible last year at 4-8. I mean, we go down there, beat them 49-7 last year, but they're looking like a legit team this year. 12-11. They're ranked 25th in the college football playoff poll now. Yep. Brent Brennan has done a good job turning this program around. And it's it's kind of come to this point where it's bragging rights. Both these teams have the same record right now. Yeah, they have one more conference loss than we do, but the overall record's the same. So it should be fun. It should be a competitive game. It's the first time since 2014 both these teams are ranked. So as we move on here, Arizona leads the all-time series, but there's a caveat to that. A lot of those wins were pre-World War II. John, we joked about it before the show, before the forward pass was invented, and all this other stuff.
They're leather helmets for most of those.
Yeah, and this is still a game that ASU has controlled for the most part. And yes, we are still counting that 2021 game that got vacated thanks to Herm Edwards. But if you count that game, even if you don't count that game, ASU still control this rivalry fairly well since the turn of the century. And again, that 2014 game leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I mean, especially because ASU was having such a great year that year. They could have gone back to the Pac-12 championship game. They just managed to win that game down in Tucson and just could not get it done. That was a tough U of A team that year as well. But it's not a rivalry unless the opposition wins on occasion. So, it is what it is. And U of A's offense has really turned around this year. I think one big key thing, and I wanted to mention this before I forget, the fact that Fafita is not having to force feed Ted McMillan quite as much. They're not relying on just one guy to get their offense going consistently. And props to Seth Doge. He was a heck of a player. He was a quarterback at Texas Tech. Right. I remember him being a very good player, and he's done a good job as a coach. He was a former Marshall OC, helped get them to a bowl game last year, his only year in West Virginia. And this offense has really moved the ball well. 408 yards a game, 34 points per game. Fafita has had a nice bounce back year. 60% completion against 64% completion with 2,677 yards, 25 touchdowns against just 5 interceptions. We've gotten a chance to see him a few times now. He's not much of a scrambler. He does have 3 rushing touchdowns on the year, but only about a 2-yard average right now. And he's been sacked 26 times, on the year. So their O-line has they've been able to stay relatively healthy. I think that's the biggest thing for their success this year. They've been very healthy. They don't have very many significant injuries. One of their running backs, I think, is questionable for this game, and that's pretty much it. I mean, one of their guards has been hurt most of the year. He's not going to play. That's really about it as far as their offense is concerned. And then, you get into their skill position guys. They've done a good job bringing some guys in who are, if we go into the next slide, Ishmael
and by the
Mahdi.
By the way, if Fafita is running, it's probably because it's a broken play.
Yes, definitely. He is a guy who prefers to stay in the pocket. He's a good scrambler, just not much of a true dual threat. Runs when he needs to, but really prefers to stay in the pocket, much like Julian Lewis.
Right.
And then Ishmael Mahdi has been really a very, very good player. He's kind of taken over as the lead back in this offense. 108 carries, 732 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's caught the ball a few times this year as well. We remember him from Texas State last year. Had a decent game against ASU then, but they've had a nice thunder and lightning thing going with him and Kedrick Riscano. Riscano's kind of a bigger back. He's their short yardage goal line guy. That's why he's got 8 touchdowns on the year compared to just 370 yards. So they've developed. They really struggled in their rushing attack last year with Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt when he was hurt last year. This year they've been able to keep guys healthy, and they've got a nice 2-headed monster out there. And then they've also been working Quincy Craig in, but he's questionable for this game. I don't know how much he will actually play in this game. And then their passing attack, like I said, has kind of gotten spread out a little bit more. They've done a good job bringing some guys in. Chris Hudson is one guy who's kind of taken over and kind of been the wide receiver one, but just about every guy in this receiving corps has had a big game at some point this year.
Right.
But Houston has been, top dog right now. 50 catches, 645 yards, 4 touchdowns. Javen Watley's another guy with four touchdowns. Trey Spivey, the name sounds familiar. His dad, Junior Spivey, played for the Diamondbacks. He's from Chandler, transferred in after 1 year at Kansas State. He's got 6 touchdowns on the year, and he's a guy who can make plays after the catch big time. If you watch him against Houston, he made some really nice plays, and he's a guy who can get out in the open and make guys miss with his speed. He's a good player. And then their tight end, Sam Olson's having a decent year too. He's not putting up great numbers, better blocker than he is a receiver, but still a guy who is a threat, if nothing else. And then, Tristan, I mentioned one of their linemen was out for the year, Tristan Bounds, and that their O-line had given up quite a few sacks this year. So it's going to be on ASU's rushing attack to get after it a little bit. And then moving on to the defense here, Danny Gonzalez, he was U of A's linebackers coach and special teams coach last year before getting promoted this year. He's a former ASU DC and for 1 year under Herm Edwards, and then the New Mexico head coach for a few years as well. And their defense has really turned around.
3-3-5, baby. 3-3-5.
Yeah. Well, that's what Danny Gonzalez has always run in the past. This is more of a modified 4-2-5. There's elements of the 3-4 in there. They'll give some different looks, and that's a big reason why they've been as successful as they have, only given up averaging 20 points a game. That is a little bit of a caveat. Their schedule has not been as strong, as tough as ours, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But only 310 total yards per game. And the strength is in their secondary. Their secondary has been very, very good this year. It's very, very veteran-laden guys who have been here in the system for a while. Dalton Johnson's one guy who just, fills up the stat sheet at that strong safety spot. They'll play him close to the line, but he can also get out in coverage. He's got those 3 interceptions on the season. Genesis Smith is a guy who's been very strong for them at that free safety spot for a few years now. He's played that spot very, very well. And Traden Stukes is having a tremendous year. He's a guy who, he's grading up there with Keith Abney as far as his performances week in and week out. He's got 3 interceptions on the season. He's kind of a nickel corner, but they'll move him all over the field as well. He's having himself a nice year as well. He looks like a legit draft pick. And then their linebackers, Tay Brown, has been very good this year. 80 tackles. He leads the team. 8.5 tackles for loss with an interception. Chase Kennedy is their weak side linebacker, and he's got 4. He leads the team with 4 sacks. He's not a true rush linebacker. He plays on the outside, but they like to blitz him a lot. He's also got 8 tackles for loss, a couple forced fumbles. He's played very, very well. as has Riley Wilson, who's got 3 sacks on the season. He's their best pass coverage linebacker with a couple pass deflections as well. And their D line, not great when it comes to numbers necessarily, but Deshaun McKnight, number 0, is having himself a nice year with a couple sacks and 11 tackles for loss as well.
Is he the
He
nose?
will get in the backfield quite a bit.
Is he the nose?
He's the D tackle. They don't really have a true nose listed on their depth chart.
Yeah. Well, the 3-3-5.
No, actually, he is their D tackle. They do have a nose. Tiali Savea is their true nose, and then Deshaun McKnight kind of plays that 3 technique next to him. So
gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. They've been tremendously improved on the defensive side. That's been a big key to their success this year, especially with that secondary they've had. And that takes us into our keys to the game, presented by Sleep in Heavenly Peace, a great nonprofit that builds beds for families in need. Please support Sleep in Heavenly Peace. And for me, I got to start with, flatten Fafita. Put pressure on that quarterback. Collapse the pocket. So much of what they do offensively runs through him. Yeah, the rushing game has certainly been improved this year, but ASU's been so good against the run. I think if you focus on what Fafita is doing and get after him a little bit, the rush defense will take care of itself. If you can put pressure on him and force some bad decisions, collapse the pocket around him. You mentioned coming up the middle from the inside and getting some pressure on him. If they can do that with CJ Fight and Kungaika, I think that would be tremendous. And, hey, Anthony Cooper's been very good in pass rush out of the middle as well. So, maybe time to turn him a little bit loose. And then there's that chess match, and that's where I feel like ASU's got to mix things up a little bit more on offense. Don't be quite so predictable. We saw them break out a couple trick plays the past couple weeks.
Right.
And especially on that red zone play right before the half, where Jordan Tyson tried to hit Shimon Mateer in the end zone, just overthrew him a little bit, but he was open. That's a play that could work. Something like that. I feel like if you can keep the chains moving, keep the Rats defense on their toes, and keep the ball out of that offense's hands, don't let them get into any kind of rhythm, you give yourself a good chance to win.
Well, you mentioned Tyson. I think he, we had him. They had him on a play count, out there.
Yeah, about 34 snaps, I think is what they said.
Mm-hmm. Right. I think they'll lift that completely, and let him go at it.
That'd be nice. That'd be very, very nice. And because you had the 2 catches, but he had 61 yards. So both the catches were impact plays, definitely.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I'm going to say you got to find a way to get him 20 to 25 touches, and
I don't think that's too much.
And yet, that's not too much. And then obviously mix them into the passing game, put stress at the edges of their defense, outside zone, toss, counters, that kind of thing. Move the pocket. Use Jeff's legs to move that pocket. He's very good in the pocket. And he's a cool customer. He stands there nice and he moves up in the pocket, but let's go ahead and move him out of that pocket at times. And then on defense, just like you're saying, you got to pressure Fafita. Don't let him get comfortable. Force him off of his first read. Don't let him just go with that quick first read. Mix up the pressures, collapse that pocket, and I think if you bring pressure up the middle, I think that the whole thing is just going to be a great day.
Bring the linebackers through the A gap. It's worked.
Yeah.
It's worked at times. I think you got to pick your spots a little bit. They did that a little bit against Colorado. They'd show blitz and then back out of it.
Right.
Maybe this time, you do something similar. One play, the next play, you put them through that A gap and put some pressure on that offensive line to pick up the blitz.
I think you take away those little short RPOs that Fafita is known for.
Put the linebackers in those passing lanes too. That's right. Worked pretty well this year too.
Yeah, right. A lot of it's going to come down to those guys. But I call it third down physicality. This whole game is going to be physical, but third down physicality will really be something to watch. And play with aggression on both sides of the ball. Just lots and lots of aggression. This is lay it all out, leave it all in the field, man. So stay disciplined, avoid penalties and turnovers. I didn't give a specific number of turnovers to win.
Well, you don't have to every week.
But we've been really on top of it. We say +2, +1. We're usually right there. with this team.
I think anything in the plus category is good for me, as long as you're turning them over more than they're turning you over.
Right.
I think that's probably going to be a good thing in a game like this.
Yep. All right, cool, man. So here we go.
Yeah, our predictions, yes, and we're very similar as usual. I got a slightly closer game. ASU finally got over that 30-point hump against Colorado. I don't know if they'll do it this time, but I do like the defense to show up a little bit. I got them winning 27-23, keeping the cup.
Yeah, and I think if we're kicking nothing but field goals, it's not going to be a good day. I do see us kicking 2 of them though, and I bet one more score with a field goal than you do, 30-24. So and they're going to score a field goal, but remember, it's this. I think we've got far more weapons on offense. Even though we're down Sam, you got Tyson back. You got your X Factor guy back.
Yeah,
and he's going to find a way to get open. With Subio the way he's been playing, he's going to find a way to get open. I just see it as it's going to be a good day. We might have to be a late score that wins it, but I do see us coming on top, 30-24.
All right, so that'll do it for us here. We love talking. We love Hate Week here on RWD, just like you guys love talking everything Arizona State football. I want to wish everybody a safe, happy Thanksgiving for you and your family, and then let's turn it loose on Black Friday down in Tempe as the Devil welcome the mild rats. We will be down there as well. So for that, say good night. Go Devils. No pity for that kitty. Twist the knife.
Splat the cats.